Hello, my name is Megan Johnston, and I am a medical laboratory scientist. Today, I will be doing a presentation on severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS. What is severe acute respiratory syndrome? SARS is a deadly respiratory disease caused by a type of coronavirus called SARS-CoV or SARS-CoV-1. You might also hear me call it SARS Classic. The virus was named for its spiky outer covering that looks like a crown. It was first isolated in humans in the 1960s, but had likely been coexisting with us for much longer. It wouldn't be until 2003 when coronavirus gained attention after a new strain began causing severe disease that would eventually come to be known as severe acute respiratory syndrome. The illness spread across North America, South America, Europe, and Asia. SARS infected over 8,000 people and killed 774 before being contained that same year. How is SARS transmitted? SARS spreads primarily through close person-to-person contact. So that is defined as anyone who has had a conversation within 3 feet of another person, shared meals, utensils, living space, hospital rooms, or transportation. Respiratory droplet transmission requires 3 feet or less of distance, so the droplets from an infected person can reach a non-infected person. The virus can also be transmitted through contact with infected droplets on surfaces or objects. If someone touches these contaminated surfaces and then touches their face, they can contract the virus. Although airborne spread does not seem to be the primary way SARS is transmitted, public health officials should consider it in the case of another outbreak. Healthcare workers are also at risk of contracting the virus while caring for patients if they are not using appropriate PPE. Additionally, aerosol generating procedures may require extra PPE than what is traditionally used. When is the infectious window? This type of coronavirus does not appear to have pre-symptomatic or asymptomatic spread, meaning patients with SARS Classic are unlikely to infect others until after symptoms appear. Once symptoms do appear, the patient may experience a fever greater than 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, headache, body aches, dry cough, and most patients will get pneumonia. Due in part to its lack of asymptomatic transmission, public health officials have managed to contain SARS Classic outbreaks, and the last known case was in 2004. Who is at risk? Anyone who has been in close contact with someone infected with SARS. People who are out in the community. In one study from 2004, researchers determined that activities like taking a taxi or eating out multiple times per week increase someone's risk, especially if they were not wearing a mask. According to that same study, always wearing a mask resulted in a 70% risk reduction. People with pre-existing or chronic conditions. And individuals over the age of 60. The mortality rate for the elderly patients is around 8 times higher than their younger peers. And lastly, healthcare workers without appropriate PPE is a major risk factor for infections acquired by healthcare workers and is the main source of SARS infection in the healthcare setting. Where should testing be done? Without ongoing person-to-person transmission of SARS, the CDC advises testing for this virus should be done sparingly, and ideally only after consulting with the state or local health department. Because there has been no known SARS circulating for a while, the positive predictive value of laboratory testing is extremely low, meaning the chances of a false positive are a real concern, particularly because a positive result would rightfully generate a lot of anxiety. Why is this infectious agent important to the community? Although there have been no known SARS cases in almost 2 decades, another outbreak is a real possibility. SARS spreads easily between people when caution and protective measures are not taken. So if SARS reemerges and swift action is not employed, it has the potential to cause considerable morbidity and mortality. SARS has a case fatality rate of about 10%. That means if 100 people become infected, 10 will die. So the take-home message here, although there have been no known cases in a long time, without protective measures, SARS has the potential to spread quickly and with relatively high morbidity and mortality rates. Because another outbreak is a possibility, surveillance is critical. And here are my references. Thank you.